Good afternoon. Hello, my name is Allison Jessing. I'm the head of adult curriculum for Howard County Library System, and I just want to thank you all for joining us today. As people are signing on or getting settled in, I just like to mention a couple of important things. First, the 2020 census. It ends on September 30th. And if you've not yet completed this census, I really encourage you to do so. The census, for every person in our community that does not complete that census, we lose $18,000 of funding that goes towards important things like the library and schools and other important community resources. So it only takes about 10 minutes to complete. I'd really encourage you to complete it if you have not done so yet. Tomorrow, you'll receive an email from me that includes a link to the library census information page where you can find more information about the census and a link to participate, as well as a survey for this presentation. We'll also share with you some of the links that our special guest presenter will be discussing tonight. So you'll find those in your email tomorrow. And if you can take a few minutes to complete that survey, we'd really appreciate that. We always value your feedback. Our guest today is Dawn Sinclair from the Howard County Board of Elections. Dawn is the absentee specialist and voter outreach coordinator and recruiter. She has a lot of important information to share with us today. So this presentation will be recorded and then we'll post it on the library's YouTube channel next week. So if you'd like to revisit it later to review any of this information, that will be available in about a week or so. At the end of Dawn's presentation, we'll also have some time for questions. So now, Dawn, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today all of this important info. I know you are incredibly busy with the election coming up on November 3rd, so we appreciate you taking the time. And now I am just going to turn it over to you to begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dawn, and I am with the Howard County Board of Elections. I am the voter outreach coordinator, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today to provide this PowerPoint presentation. We will have a Q&A at the end of this session, and after the presentation as well, if you have any questions that you need to have answered privately, you will also see that my work email address as well as my work phone number is also provided on the last slide. So we will go ahead and begin. Okay, so moving on to the overview summary of this presentation, we want to talk a little bit about voter registration and same-day registration, early voting, and election day. What resources do you have? How do you use your resources? Where are these resources located? How, for example, could you cast your ballot? How do you request a vote by mail application? Where are the ballot drop boxes going to be located? We're going to cover these topics and many more. We know that more than likely you will have questions. Please go ahead and post your questions in the Q&A box, and we will make sure that we answer them at the end of the presentation. Thank you. Something that has been on everyone's minds as of recently is the current pandemic situation. So we wanted to reach out to as many voters as possible and let you know that this topic is being adequately covered. We will be using personal protective equipment, otherwise known as PPE, within all vote centers. Vote centers will be equipped with plexiglass shields for check-in tables, ballot issuance tables, provisional tables, and chief judge tables. Face masks, hand sanitizers, and gloves will be provided for all the working election judges. Face masks will be required, and hand sanitizer will be available to voters as well. Every voter will receive their own pen and an I voted sticker in a bag. All equipment and surfaces will be cleaned by election judges on a regular basis. Voter registration and same-day registration requirements. We want to make sure that you are aware that you can visit elections.maryland.gov to register entirely online with a driver's license and the last 4 digits of your social security number. When you go to this website, which is the Maryland State Board of Elections website, you simply scroll down to the bottom of the screen and you'll click on a blue box that says register. Please bear in mind that voter registration closes on October 13th at 5 p.m. You must be a U.S. citizen and a Maryland resident in order to register to vote. SDR same-day registration will be available during early voting and election day for those who are unable to register by the deadline. Proof of identity and proof of residency is required. Mail-in ballots and absentee ballots. The names have caused some confusion. The process is the same. And I mean by that a mail-in ballot and an absentee ballot. Vote by mail request forms have been mailed to all registered voters. Please fill yours out and return it to our office promptly if you have not already done so. The deadline to request a mail-in ballot is October 20th, 2020 at 8 p.m. for mail and by 11:59 p.m. for fax or email. If you need to request a mail-in ballot and you have not yet received one in your mailbox and you prefer to do it immediately, you can do so. You can complete the request completely online at the Maryland State Board of Elections website, which is elections.maryland.gov. You would scroll down to the bottom of that screen and you would simply click on Request a Ballot. Quite a few questions about returning your mail-in ballot. There is an oath of mail-in ballot voter that must be signed or your ballot will not count. Please check and then double check that you have signed your oath before you either return your ballot to one of our drop boxes or before you decide to deposit it in the post office. Ballots sent to the voter by mail will be provided a postage paid envelope. So you don't have to worry about buying additional postage. Voted ballots must be postmarked no later than November 3rd, 2020, or dropped off by 8 p.m. in a drop box or inside a vote center. All vote centers will accept voted mail-in ballots inside the polling room during early voting and on election day. 9 of these centers will have a drop box outside. You can also see our website for more information. The website has been updated with all of these locations. The question on everyone's mind is also, when will the ballots be mailed? Okay. Military and overseas ballots will be mailed out at least 45 days prior to the election. Regular or domestic ballots will be mailed out in late September, starting in late September through early October. That means the vast majority of voters should be receiving their ballots by mid-October. If you have not received your ballot by mid-October, I can't give you an exact date, but let's just say October 15th or October 17th. For example, please contact the Howard County Board of Elections and ask to speak to the mail-in voting department.
John, we have a question that is related to that. Does Maryland
Voters
notify?
are now permitted to take their voted mail-in ballots to a vote center. Voted mail-in ballots will have their own secure mail-in ballot bag, which will be a yellow canvas bag that will be taken back to the Board of Elections at the end of election night. Drop boxes will be at all early voting centers, which are also vote centers on election day. So this is certainly an option for people who have concerns about mail delivery service. If, for example, your post office seems to be challenged due to the pandemic, certainly placing your ballot in a drop box is a good idea. Please keep in mind that these ballot boxes are accessible 24 hours a day. They are locked and secure. They are large metal boxes, and they also are under constant video surveillance. There will be 9 boxes placed across the county, including one outside the Howard County Board of Elections, which you will see to your right. And you can see our website for more information about these locations. Remember, the drop boxes will only be available until 8 p.m. on election day. So you want to make sure that you do not attempt to deposit your ballot after 8 p.m. on election day, Tuesday, November 3rd. Early voting and election day hours. Okay, so it has been decided that in-person voting will take place for this general election, okay? Voting by mail is the preferred method of voting. It is the safest method. However, there are people that really want to vote in person. So you will be provided that opportunity. We will have early voting and we will have election day voting. Early voting will take place October 26th through November 2nd, 2020, including Saturday and Sunday. The hours will be consistent each day. The voting hours will run 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Anyone in line at 8 p.m. gets to vote. Okay, so right now we're just going to take a few minutes and take a look at the early voting centers. The first two. The first one is in Marriottsville. The second one is in Fulton. Number 1, Marriotts Ridge High School. Number 2, Reservoir High School. Okay, location 3, Wild Lake High School. Location 4, Long Reach High School, both in Columbia, Maryland. The last one, location 5, Meadowbrook Athletic Center, Ellicott City, Maryland. Election day voting sites. I'm not going to read through all of them because I know that you're able to view them yourself. These locations are also posted on our website, but I will just spend a few minutes so you can look at the various locations. They are spread they are spread across the county, and we have several different locations. Okay, this next screen, I hope that you can see this document. I know that you may be viewing it, it may be a little bit smaller on the screen. This is a mail-in ballot application. Many of you have already seen it, have already filled it out and returned it. If you haven't seen it, one is going to be arriving shortly into your mailbox. So I wanted to show you this so that you just would have an idea what to expect when you do fill out one if you haven't. It is a Maryland application for a mail-in ballot, and obviously at the top, it wants your first name, last name, email address, and some other personal information, birth date, address, and how you wish to receive your ballot, okay? You can choose to receive your ballot by U.S. mail, which is the preferred method, or you can also choose to receive your ballot via web delivery. So there's an option there for they call it internet delivery, that's web delivery. And you would want to make sure if you choose that you provide a good email address. Another note about that specific situation, if we have several voters residing within the same household, if you choose to receive your ballot via web delivery, each voter has to provide a separate and unique email address. You want to make sure that you don't forget to sign this document. It can't be processed without the voter's signature. Okay, so think about signing up to be an election judge. Participate in elections. We always need more election judges. This is a very important job. Now, I realize, certain people have medical conditions which may preclude them for signing up to be an election judge, and that's completely understandable. After all, we are people first. But if you are not in a situation, if it's a situation in which you feel that you would be able to participate in a polling place and working as an election judge, then please consider signing up online to work as an election judge. Or even if you decide that this election cycle would not be appropriate for you or a family member, understand that you also can sign up in the future and possibly consider working during an election period in 2022. This is also a paid position, so you are paid. This is not a volunteer position. You do make several $100s for one day of work. In all fairness, I know many of you already know this, it is a long day. Please remember that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, some of what we have outlined here may be subject to change. Please take a few minutes to post any questions that you do have in the Q&A, and we will respond back as quickly as we can.